All right. Whether you're able to join right now or going to join in the future, wanted to introduce myself. Obviously, my name is AJ Garbowski, and wanted to start off this series, The Climb, explaining kind of what we've been doing in Team Garbo, mental health advocates, and what I've been doing personally, and what I think might be a good fit. So I'm going to wait a little bit to kick this off, but if you can join this now or see this in the future, I appreciate it. All right, music's done. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is AJ Garbowski. I live with a diagnosis of bipolar disorder and ADHD. I want to start this streaming series, The Climb, to not only share my experiences living with a mental illness, but bring in other people. And this organization I founded, Team Garbo, has had great success helping people really opening their eyes to mental health, or go get help, or just start the conversation that is something that should be had, really worldwide. And something that we have focused on is to normalize the stigma behind mental health and be the bridge from the everyday person to mental health initiatives. And with that experience, we've been doing it since 2018, had a lot of opportunities to raise money for some really good causes. But I also have had chances to speak with people, individuals, groups, even gone to schools to share my story, and really thought it would be a good idea to not only just have videos sharing insights, concepts of well-being, but real life, day-to-day, how I deal with mental illness, how someone else deals with it, bring people on and have it as almost like appointment TV, where you can come join us at Monday, 8 o'clock, learn a little bit about what that person's going through, or certain things of, let's just say routine, medicine, therapy, you name it. And we'll keep it to a short 10 to 15 minutes because, like I said, I have ADHD. My attention's pretty poor. Everyone else has a lot of things going on. So hopefully this can be truly impactful to anyone that's able to share this, view this, or just join us live here. To really get into why we wanted to do this, it is really the core reason of reaching out to as many people as possible. When I say we, Team Garbo, when we started working with other mental health initiatives, and we started talking to different types of groups and schools, it was quickly realized the more people that you can share relevant stories to, the better off everyone will be. And that's the beauty of Team Garbo. It is a team. I had a team of individuals. I call them a team. Bunch of individuals flocked to my side in a time of need, and I'm truly grateful for it, because that's not what everyone's situation is. And from a perspective of someone living with a mental illness, you can hear from me my insights, and my group has many others that deal with their own mental illnesses, some different than mine. You can hear from, a friend of someone that is dealing with mental health, a parent, a coach, an athlete, even, a teacher. We have all that in Team Garbo, and really with our connections outside of it, all the lines of people that we work with, connect with, we think really can relate with a lot of different people. So big why behind it is we truly think we can help other people by just normalizing this stigma and being that bridge for people. I'm very open about my story dealing with bipolar disorder. I'm an open book. There's a lot of videos that I've already done. But from a live perspective, I'm excited to share with everyone my day-to-day approach, how I'm doing things currently, and maybe how things were in the past. Sometimes when you get these posts from me, I'm in a good state enough to put together a video, edit it, blog it, post it out everywhere. That takes a lot of effort, and to truth be told, like I'm in a good emotional state when I'm doing those types of videos. And hopefully, with this routine, you can tell, and I could share a little bit about the ups and the downs of living with bipolar disorder, or even just living with a mental illness, and what I need to do on a daily basis just to keep things moving in the right direction. And that's where I'll start us right here for the first edition of The Climb, because talk with many individuals on in their life, whether it's mental health, you name it. And for me, I obstacle when I was 19 back in this day. It was 2013, the summer. I came back from college and I started an episode. Had severe symptoms. I said I had friends, family flock to my going on, and that was 10 years ago. We are 10 years in the future, and I'm still battling and climbing that mountain-like obstacle. And because everyone has a certain mountain-like obstacle in their way, and my intention is to focus on the being side, but any way you in front of them. When it comes to mental health, you're either directly impacted. 1 in 5 people have mental illnesses. I beg to 4 out of 5 takes a lot of energy of people. So whether it's 1 in 5 or 4 of 5 or 5 has never been really earth-shattering people. And so 10 years ago, I'm diagnosed with bipolar. It was such a climb because I was, and the main reason I was resistant to it, and I have more insight on, how, but any negative thoughts, images, and all these insecurities I had, and I suppressed it. And for the most part, I become a successful person because I was always driving for some drive, started, and, didn't really, it was strength of mine of just powering through situations. My work ethic was a lot of people, Asian sports or dealing with illnesses, and sitting there in front of a psychiatrist for the first time, these bipolar disorder, this survey all, kind of saying that you have bipolar disorder. And I said, I can't believe that because I'm always down. And for anyone that knows anything about bipolar disorder, Mania was to this doctor. And from there, very strong hold through this. Came to the family, came around me and said, hey, you got to get help. Have to really want to put any light to it because I was ashamed. Shame being diagnosed, a long road of recovery. And here we are. I've been hospitalized 3 times. Every single time couldn't get it, or I didn't know what to ask for, where to go. The biggest reason I started Team Guard, no one can suffer the pain that I have. And if I could help one person just not experience that, and for those of you who are going to be know that we've had an impact. So right now, essentially, and excited for all the things that we've done in the past, sharing what my board's gone through is really brings back the 10 years of being diagnosed. And it's a thing really because to deal with being bipolar disorder, and because I think in a certain instance you can obstacles that you've overcome, and I bring it to this past fortunate with good health. Year I found the love of my life on her finger. We buy a house, we get on feet right now. We're living almost the American dream. Wedding, attending multiple. We also financially, a lot of stress that was thrown at me, and I could say years of having bipolar disorder. My toughest one was this past year. My fiance and now wife's way, and as stride and day by always. Whenever you hear me talk about recovery, it is day by day, and that it is easy to do that because it wasn't. And even this past couple months, I feel bad depression and almost about everything. And after my best day of my life, and put things in perspective for me, 10 years is that you're going to find yourself mountain. It's up to you to expect in life, and have to do it alone. And that's what team before, but it's about, because when you have deep roots, there's no. So I really knew that this past year. I support system. I was mania, you name it, unemployed at a certain. There was pressures that I had at work at me, and it haven't been in front of a camera. I had to get my ducks in a row. Doing that, I really realized there's go back to, and I think it's so tangible that everyone can do it. Model. And imagine you're climbing, and I mentioned it before in a blog I've posted, even when I'm speaking with others. The first thing you need to do is build. Just like playing the hits, you know exactly for your well-being to get yourself in the right state to climb that mountain. And in future episodes here, I always knew I had a certain hits. I had these building I need to go through every, and getting it back to the past. After that build stage, there's that back, toot my own horn by saying I think I can persevere through almost about anything. Past 10 years, the more passion I had, it just huge amounts of trouble of me saying, hey, I can love. And for me, that balance pick about that perfect balance, balancing mental toughness and self to yourself, or saying no to others.